Kia ora. Kia ora. Kia ora. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome.
Oh no, we died. Welcome to me yelling for the next 10 minutes. Welcome to Waiotapu and welcome to the Lady Knox Geyser. I apologize, as you see my speaker instantly cut out, so you'll just have to put up with my loud voice like this, but hopefully all you can hear me. My name's Sarah, and as you can probably tell from my accent, I'm not actually from New Zealand. I'm Canadian, just wrapping up my time here. Yay! It's warm in Canada now. It's safe to go home. I just hid from the winter for a bit. But welcome to Waiotapu. Waiotapu is a Maori word. Maori words means place of sacred waters. But it also means place of taboo waters, place of forbidden or restricted waters, and don't drink the water. However you do translate it, you are in a very special place today. You're in a very powerful place. This is an active volcanic area, and it's an active geothermal area. So because of that, a couple of things we'll just ask you to do when you do go visit the park after the geyser here. Please make sure you stay on the marked trails. Don't hop the fence for any selfies. You don't know what's on the other side. And also, please refrain from smoking when you're in the park. The natural vegetation that's around there is very flammable. So there's areas outside of the park you're welcome to smoke. When you're in the parks, please refrain from smoking. So here we are today at the Lady Knox Geyser, which I'm standing beside right now. Now, we used to have about 130 active geysers in the area. By the 1970s, that number had dropped down to only about 15 or so. And that's about all we have in the area right now is about 15 active geysers, the Lady Knox being one of these. We think this geyser is about 150 years old, but its story starts about 100 years ago, and it actually starts with prisoners. So where you are parking today, and just in this general vicinity, was the site of New Zealand's first open prison camp. When we say open prison camp, we mean like a labor camp, a work camp. So the prisoners were staying here, very rudimentary conditions, probably maybe a couple of buildings, but mostly just big tents they'd be staying in. And what they were doing is they were clearing all of the native brush to make room for a tree plantation. So 100 years ago, New Zealand looked a lot different. The North Island of New Zealand would have been a lot of the sorts of trees that you see around you here. These are mostly manuka, kanuka trees. And all of these pines and conifers that you're seeing, those are all non-native plants. They've all been planted. So that's what the prisoners were busy doing. Now you can imagine back in the day, really hot summer's day, these men are working really, really hard, don't have anywhere to shower and bath. They'd actually come down to this location here, and where I'm standing looked a lot different 100 years ago too. This was hot pools. There were hot springs here, and there were actually several geysers, and this geyser wasn't built up like it is now, it was flat. So the prisoners would finish their day's work, and they'd come on down to have a bath and a soak and do their laundry. So I like to think of the first group of them who came down here and were doing this. They all take off their clothes to have a nice soak in the hot pools, and they nominate one guy. Whoever draws the short straw has to do the laundry boy. So we're going to call him Joe. I like to think of Joe getting ready, doing the laundry right over here. He doesn't realize it's actually an active geyser, starts washing the clothes, gets a little bit of soap in there, and then a few minutes later, the geyser erupts, the clothes go flying, it scares all the guys bathing, and they have to run around all naked chasing their clothes. Yeah, I'm sure they were big, muscly men. Yeah. No, oh, a few laughs. Anyways, maybe it's my Canadian mind. But anyways, they soon came to the conclusion that every time they got soap into the geyser would erupt. And I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, well, how does it erupt at 10:15 every day? We're going to do something similar. I'm going to induce the geyser. I'm going to use something called surfactant, which is more environmentally friendly. We are actually monitored by the Rotorua Council to make sure we're not having any ill environmental effects. So I am going to put surfactant in. What's going to happen is it is going to break the surface tension of the chamber of the geyser, and a few minutes later the geyser will erupt. Now this is still a natural feature, so after I put the soap in, the take a few minutes for anything to happen, and then I don't even know for sure what will happen. Most likely we will get an eruption, but it might erupt, and then it might just die right down. It might erupt, die down, and then continue erupting for up to an hour afterwards. So just give me a minute while I put the surfactant in, and then we'll see what happens. No, it won't do to leave my microphone sitting there, even though this doesn't work. So it will take a few minutes for anything to happen. It'll start sort of doing some bubbling, and then it'll start sort of coming up and down before it actually erupts. Now, if this was left on its own, it would still erupt, but it would erupt at between every 12 and 72 hours, and we don't know when exactly it would happen. That's why we choose to induce it once a day so that people can come and see it. So you don't want to sit out here for 72 hours waiting for a geyser. So this way you do get to see it. Now I mentioned that there's a chamber underneath me. So underneath me is 30,000 liters of water. Now naturally that water, the pressure is going to build and build and build. And then what would happen is some bubbles would come up from the bottom of the chamber, break the surface tension, and that would cause the eruption. So I'm doing the same thing, but from the top. Now you're also maybe wondering, who was this Lady Knox, and why does she have a geyser named after her? So Lady Knox herself wasn't that important, but her father, Lord Ranfurly, he was the 15th Governor General of New Zealand, and he came to this area to inspect the prison camp. He was in charge of the prison camps. He knew this geyser was here and he had his family with him, so Lady Knox actually induced the geyser when they were visiting. Now they didn't name it after her right away. It's actually named after her brother, but the prisoners kept calling it the Lady Knox geyser, and then that's why the name has stuck, so it's still the Lady Knox geyser even today. Now there's a few other spots in the world where you can see geysers. Yellowstone, I bet some of you have already seen Old Faithful. There's a place in Kamchatka, Russia, here on the North Island of New Zealand, and then of course Iceland. And geyser is an Icelandic word meaning to gush forth. So hopefully that's going to happen in just a moment. It will start gushing forth and you can enjoy it. If you have any questions, I'm going to be in the park today giving presentations. At 11:30 I'll be at the champagne pool. At noon I will be at the panoramic view. 12:30 back at the champagne pool, and 1 p.m. I'm at the Devil's Bath. You're more than welcome to come and find me at any of those spots. Listen to my presentation, ask me any questions there. Thank you very, very much for coming to Waiotapu. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and kia ora. Thank you. Kia ora.
ฟ้ามันเป็นเมฆมองมันไม่ตัดกันเลยเนาะหมดแล้วเป็นไงตื่นเต้นไหมผู้ชายเชื่อขอเริ่มดูด้วยอันนี้ก็เลยง่ายกันล่ะก็ตื่นดีเพราะว่าเราจะได้ไม่ต้องมารอ72 ชั่วโมงดีจังเลยเราไม่ต้องแล้วไงแล้วหมดแล้วใช่ไหมอ้าวเดี๋ยวชั่วโมงไม่มีชั่วโมงโอเค ำด้วยนิดนึงต้องถ่ายรูปอะไรแบบไม่เราต้องทำเวลาอะไรก่อน
Yeah, we said come back as soon as
ไปเถอะ